Okay, today we're going to be learning about variables and expressions. We're in our textbook on page 9. Page 9 in our textbooks. Page 9. Alright, so before we get started, there is some vocabulary that you need to know. The first one is what we call a variable. A variable is a letter that is used to represent a number. That can be any letter in the alphabet, A through Z. Right? But we use these letters or these variables to represent values and to assign values. Now, a variable expression consists of numbers, variables, and operations. Now, what's an operation? That would be, I have 4 of them: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Very good. All right, now to evaluate, simple terms, right? All that means to solve. To evaluate means to solve. Right? That's what you need to know. When I say to evaluate something, I mean to solve it. All right, so with that vocab in mind, let's look at example 1. In example 1, I'm evaluating a variable expression. It's important. Now, I know that this is as basic as it comes. You might be able to look at this and say, I can do that in my head. I don't need to write out my work. Now, that might be true, but this only gets harder from here. As I start teaching in pre-algebra, you learn it in Algebra 1, you'll see that it's important that you know the process. You know how to substitute in values. So I need you to show your work. Evaluate x plus 4 when x equals 9. So I start with my original problem. You need to write it in your notes, x plus 4. Then I show my substitution. Now, the value for x is 9, so I substitute in 9 for x. Do you see where I got the 9 from, guys? You see that? All right, and then I just evaluate. When I evaluate, I'm solving or simplifying to get my answer of 13. All right, now I want you to go ahead and do the second one. All right, so let's see who got it. So we write original problem. Y minus 3, we show our substitution. Value for y is 7, and 7 minus 3 is, class? 4. Everybody show their work correctly? All right, substitutions, very good. Okay, so in example 2, now it's the same thing we just did in example 1, except we're multiplying and dividing. So we still start with our original problem, 4n. We make our substitution, 4 times 6. Now notice I use parentheses to show multiplication. What are some other ways I can show multiplication? With a dot. Now why don't I want to use a dot? What can it be confused for? Decimal. A decimal. So don't use the dot to show multiplication. The only exception to that is sometimes we do use it when we're doing order of operations. What's another way that we can show multiplication? With the x, but we don't want to use the x because it can be confused for a letter or a variable. Okay, a variable. So use parentheses to show multiplication. I will start counting off if you're not using parentheses to show multiplication. All right, and our answer here is 24. Go ahead and try the next one on your own. All right, so we've got z divided by 2. We make our substitution, 8 divided by 2. And we have our answer of 4. Again, guys, we're starting basic. This concept can get more difficult, but we're just learning the process for now. In example 3, I'm looking at a word problem. You can look with me on page 10. Down at the bottom, example 3. It's an ice hockey example. It says evaluate the expression G plus A when G equals number of goals and A equals number of assists. Now, these word problems are going to give you the clues that you need to solve. I've already had a lot of questions on number 24 in the homework, and all I'm going to say is read it, see what the variable stands for, and then plug in the value for that variable. That's the only hint you're going to get from me, okay? So, on example 3, I'm using the expression G plus A, where G stands for goals, A stands for assists. Does it give me a value for G? Yes. How many goals? How many goals? 12. How many assists? 29. So that's 41 total points. 41 points. You say, well, an assist isn't a point. Well, they still scored a point. He just didn't score it himself. He helped his teammate score a point, so it still counts. 41 points. So using expressions to solve whenever I substitute values in. All right, and if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 1.2.